Hey guys, so Lord here, back again with another action figure review. You know what time it is? It is Comic-Con exclusive unboxing time. What, do you think it was Adventure Time? Hell no, that show sucks ass. Because today we're going to be unboxing and reviewing the Mattel Creations / San Diego Comic-Con 2025 exclusive Masters of the Universe Origins Turtles of Greyskull Skele-Shredder, because we got Skele Raw in the Thundercats line. Now we got Skele-Shredder. I guess they revealed Skeletron, where Skeletor is literally wearing Megatron's crap. All we need is a Skele-Commander, a Skeletor Cobra Commander crossover, and then we have Skeletor officially crossbred with all the iconic 80s bad guys. Wouldn't you know it? But before we get too far ahead of ourselves with nautical nonsense and crap like that, why don't we talk about the figure in question here? Of course, he comes in the ship. Big brown box here, which I actually opened from the bottom, like the genius I am. Putting that aside. And I gotta be honest, not the biggest fan of this packaging. It's a little bit of a pain in the nuts to get into. But it does come with a mini comic. Not gonna spoil it for you. You gotta either get your own or watch somebody else's video. I don't want to spoil it here. I just hope he butchers all of the turtles like cattle so they can't cross over with, I don't know, Hello Kitty, Garfield, Godzilla, Simpsons. Oh wait, they already did. Crap! Taking a look at Skele-Shredder's box. Here's the front. Turn it around to the back. You can see that. Looks pretty good. Not too shabby. I will say this is a little tricky to get off this lid here. You really gotta finagle it so it comes off. But once you do, it will come off. It's hooked with one tab. They really needed to tape down a couple of those tabs. The top of the box actually has this kind of turtle shell texture to it, so that's kind of neat. Setting that aside. Here is Skele-Shredder in his box. All of his evil glory. It's got this little tab piece that folds down, so you can see his little feetums. On the back, you get a glimpse of some more like holes in the box and whatnot. But taking him out, setting the box aside, here he is in the tray, all twist-tied, taped, and elastic banded in there. So I hope you got your garden shears or a frickin' machete, because I feel like getting through the Amazon jungle is probably easier than cutting this guy out of the package. Yeah, doesn't look like fun. So am I going to deduct points for that? Probably not, because it's all going in the trash. And that's my way of getting revenge on Twisty Ties, is throwing them in the garbage to know that they are just going to wind up in a landfill 10, 20 years from now. But either way, we're going to cut it here, and I am going to cut Skele-Shredder loose. Then we're going to take a closer look at the demonic lord Despondos mixed with the leader of the Foot Clan within. And with the power of movie magic, we are back, not with a dinosaur story. How many times am I going to make that joke before I die? Hopefully 1,000 times more. But with that being said, we are of course back with the infamous Skele-Shredder, Comic-Con exclusive from the fine folks over at Mattel. Opened up and out of his packaging, looking pretty sweet. I'm not going to lie, for a Turtles of Greyskull figure, this guy's pretty lit. I'm not going to lie. So, before I get too far ahead of ourselves, we already went over the mini-comic. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but like I said earlier, I hope this guy manages to brutally slaughter and kill the 4 turtles. That way they can't cross over with anything else. But on top of that, we do get some other accessories. Starting off with this very Havoc Staff inspired triple-bladed weapon thingy. I'm not entirely sure what is going on with this, but as you can see, there is the Havoc skull right there with this big blade sticking out of it. It does rotate. Does it actually pop off? No, it doesn't. I'm sure if you heated it up, maybe it does. But there you go. Looks pretty rad, all things considered. We also get a couple extra, I'm going to call them face plates because they don't have like the back of the helmet on them. But we get like a regular Shredder looking faceplate and a Skele-Shredder faceplate with the 3-pronged crest on it. And that is my preferred head for this figure. I'll show you how to swap that out in just a moment. But on top of that, we also get this, I think this is a gold Shredder head. Looks pretty cool. You could probably put this on the Super Shredder. I only wish that figure had legs, because that way this would make a little more sense. But really cool looking helmet there. Really exaggerated side pieces. And of course it's got the crest on the top. And that's all you get for accessories. But if we take him off here, you do get this awesome Bone Throne display base, which has these little tabards on the side, which do have some gunk on them from being taped to the package, so not a fan of that. They just poured into the side, though. Nothing crazy there. That said, this throne actually is not batted down to this base. I can get it off here. There you go. You can actually pop the sucker apart to store it, which is awesome because the last Bone Throne couldn't do that. And in the process of trying to take it apart for storage, I broke it. So, got rid of that thing. But, very cool throne. Not the most durable feeling thing ever, but yeah, it feels cheap, in other words. But it's not terrible. It's not terrible. And on the back, you get these little blades here. You can actually pop out. Really making me work to get stuff out of here, aren't you? You can pop these little blades out. And you can either put them in this guy's hands, which they're going to stretch the heck out of the hands. But one thing you can do is you can plug them into the back. Probably with the cape attached, I'd imagine. You can do that and then have the cape kind of drape over them, like so. Have nifty little blades sticking off his back, which that's probably how I'm going to display mine. I think that would probably look the coolest. Having 2 of those sticking off his back. But I digress. So let me pop that back into here. Plugs right in. No problem. This piece also is like pinned in with these little metal pins here. There's one here, and then one at the top. Just be mindful of that. You don't mess those up. You're messing with it. Now looking at the man of the hour, the Skele-Shredder. And as I mentioned before, he's got technically face plates. Move that thing over a little bit. Whoop. He's technically got face plates. So I'm going to show you how to swap these on. Best way to do that, just pop this whole thing off. Actually, you can take it off with the head still attached. Pop that off. I wonder if I can pop it on with the head still attached. There we go. And this will give you a better look at the man underneath. He's got some sticky goo-goo on his shoulders there That's kind of weird. I have to clean that off. That's like sticky goo-goo residue. Didn't notice that before. It must be from this piece, I had to guess. I don't know. That's very strange. But all you gotta do is slip this over. And there you go. There he is in all of his Skele-Shredder glory. Looking really cool. So as far as articulation goes, his head is going to be hindered because of the hood. I do like the way the hood sits. Kind of reminds me of that CGI Skeletor. Shoulders will pop up, back down, rotate forward and back. Single jointed elbow with rotation, swivel hinge wrists. He does have a waist twist. Hips will kick out to the side, back down. They will kick forward, back a little bit. He does have the single jointed knees with rotation, very tight rotation there. And then he does have the swivel in the boot with a hinge in the foot, as well as a rocker joint. And peg holes at the bottom of the feet for the pegs on the bone throne. I can just stand them up here. I'll bring that back and show you. So here are the pegs right there in the front. And I do believe there's a place to store those gauntlets on here. Possibly these pieces right there and there. I think you can store the gauntlets on those. I'm not sure where else they would go. I don't really see anywhere else for them to go. So I'm going to say that's where they go. But at any rate, that is Skele-Shredder in a nutshell. Not gonna lie, as much hate as I've given this Turtles of Greyskull line for, you know, delaying the inevitable completion of the vintage line in Origins, I think this figure's pretty freaking cool. You know, the line in general has had its gems, but this one in particular I think is a good one to go out on. It's really solid, looks freaking sick, and it was the Comic-Con exclusive, comes in the fancy packaging, has the display base and everything. I think this is a good way to end on. So before we wrap this review up, we bring in our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulith, right there. And the infamous 11 Spawn, who as usual towers over everyone, because he is not a 5.5-inch figure. So with that being said, I think it is time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and as I mentioned before, yes, I think this is the perfect way to send off Turtles of Greyskull with something deluxe, something special, something really cool looking like this. It just makes sense. Makes me wonder how they're going to send off the Thundercats Masters of the Universe crossover line because, well, at the moment, it's looking pretty meh because we don't have a lot of villains for that line, whereas Turtles of Greyskull, we got plenty. Despite the fact that Karai and Baxter Stockman were sorely missing from the line, we did get plenty of villains otherwise, so makes me wonder what they're going to do with Thundercats. Hopefully we see some more villains soon, and it's not just gang up on Skele-Ra and Panther Cat Man, whatever. So, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.